Bienvenidos, Fright fans. Welcome to the horror show and our coverage of Texas Frightmare 2019. And I'm super stoked to be here with writer, director, producer extraordinaire from up north. That's right, Chad Archibald. Did I get that name right?
That's right.
Badass,
That's right.
man. So very happy to have you here, man. And this guy just saw the release today of not just one of my favorite genre films of the year, not just one of my favorite horror movies, one of the best films I have seen all year, I'll Take Your Dead. Out on VOD today and in some select theaters as well, right?
Yep, across Canada through Show Factory.
Badass, man.
Yeah.
So seriously, it's always just so impressive to me to get incredible performances out of actors, and there's no missing link in this film whatsoever. I mean, Aiden is terrific. You've seen him in stuff like Outlander, History of Violence. I even saw him in Wolf Cop, another one from up north, which was a lot of fun. So he's great as this guy who basically disposes of bodies for shady, unsavory characters, but the standout, obviously, is the young Ava Preston. What was it like working with just this team of actors and getting them all on the same page and just getting such great performances out of them?
It was great. I mean, we never actually got to sit down with everyone and do a rehearsal or a table read or anything until the day before we started shooting.
That's even more impressive, then.
I mean, we went through casting. Aiden, we just based off of some of the stuff he had done in the past. Mm-hmm. But it was so awesome. As soon as we got on set, their chemistry was so great. Everyone got along so well. We were up like in the Great White North, like in Aurelia. It was like a house that was like frozen all winter. We went in there and it was like no one was living in there or anything. It was almost abandoned. Wow. And so it was like snowstorms every day. It was like minus 42, I think it was, the first day of shooting.
At least you're filming most of the stuff inside that. So.
So it was nuts, and we were a little nervous, bringing a young actress up there and kind of like putting her through the elements and everything. But it was right off the top. She's such a pro, Ava. She's so awesome. She came on board. She every day she was just so happy. Like she'd come, she'd do a scene that was very serious. Then as soon as it was done, she'd laugh. Everyone
right back to being a kid, right?
Yeah, she was like the cheerleader of the shoot. She was so happy all the time. And then on top of that, it's like we do a scene where it was like, emotional scene. She'd get into it and then she'd stop and be like, "Can I do another one? Do you mind if I cry this time?" And I was like,
"Bring it."
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like, single tear, perfect every time.
Yeah,
I remember Aiden coming up to me and being like, "Is this kid showing me up, dude? She's great."
I think so, just maybe. And yet she was great in those scenes with Jess too, like the relationship that the two of them form, and you're not really sure where Jess's character was going to go as the film progressed. And I just really liked that arc of just the care and the compassion between the two of them, and I mean, it was impressive, man.
Yeah, we wanted to do something different with this film. We did 8 films. I think we've done 10 films now with Breakthrough in the last couple of years, and all the content is basically being created by myself and Cody Callahan. So we always try to kind of reinvent ourselves and like do a different kind of subgenre or something, or different, make sure that all these movies that we're putting out are all, they feel different. They all feel unique and standalone. And this was one that, we decided we wanted to do something that had a lot more heart to it, a lot more character based, and like, something different than we've kind of done in the past. And it's like, older actor and a younger actress, and it just kind of came together. It actually took longer to get this film off the ground than all the other ones did. We were kind of waiting for the right time to kind of make it all work, but it was once it did, we were happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you've hit so many of those just different beats, whether it was body horror with Bite, or whether it was like the whole religious cult aspect in the Heretics. Is there a subgenre of horror that you have yet to tackle that you really would like to just take a stab at?
What's funny? It's like we have some of the stuff that we have coming up is like a little bit more comedic, actually. Not comedy horrors, but stuff that's like a little bit more fun. I mean, we're always coming up with concepts, and we're always coming up with we're doing a lot of TV show pitches and stuff right now. So it's there's a lot of stuff I actually love doing body horror. Like I love making body horror. I'd love to do another one of those at some point.
The transformation in Bite was what made it just, and not just the transformation of her, but her entire apartment and everything, and just, I just loved slimy, gross practical, and that one just oozed it, so to speak.
And it was so much fun to make. I would love to make a Bite too, just to actually go out and make that. Because it was
left the door open, obviously. So.
And every day it's like you'd walk into set and it would be like dirtier and grosser, and the art team stayed up that night and like put more crap everywhere. And we'd all go in there, and everyone on set was just like covered in goo. You just wear clothes that you didn't care about because it was just always dripping and these eggs, and it was so much fun.
Well, and the transformation in the Heretics, I thought, was awesome looking as well. And something as I was just kind of reflecting over those 3 films of yours that I've seen, there's always, or at least in those 3, kind of a tragic emotional arc of sorts among certain characters. Is that something that you deliberately really go for, just to get the audience engaged and just almost sympathize and empathize and everything with those leads?
For sure. Like, I mean, I think every horror movie we do, we always want to make sure there's a story in there. Like we always say, it's like you should be able to take all the horror away from it, and you still have a story you still have a movie. You know what I mean? So as long as you have something at the core of it, where it's like you still have characters that you care about, and it's real and it doesn't rely on the horror of it all. Then you got something special, right? It's like never just jumping in and just being like horror all the time, right? You want characters people care about, and
dude, that's a great approach, because of the fact that then the horror almost becomes just some additional flavor and seasoning to the proceedings if you're just starting and building it from the ground up like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, so you've had some film. I mean, your last few you've all co-written with Jaime LaForest, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, so you also did a couple other films that you did not write. Do you prefer to just be involved in every step of the process and just writing and directing, or do you like the challenge of adapting somebody else's work? Like with was it Ejecta was the sci-fi one that somebody else wrote, obviously?
Yeah. I mean, most of the things that I've directed, I've been part of the writing process for sure. Even on Ejecta, it was such a weird, unique film, because it was like a movie directed by...
and you co-directed it with Matt
Whaley.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun, but it started as one movie, and then when we were done, we had this kind of idea of bringing this whole other thing in, and kind of did a big kind of rewrite in the middle of it and kind of forced it all together. But it turned out great in the end. We were really happy with it. But a lot of the stuff that we do is like we just happen to be creating it. Like we know the budgets that we're working with, and I think that's kind of how we've been able to kind of create higher quality films at low budgets. It's just because we design them from the ground up, knowing our limitations and what we can kind of really utilize. But I mean, I still haven't got to a point where it's like someone's given me a script and I love it and I want to go make it.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped to do that.
So then, so would you be down for like a big budget property of some sort if you could ever get the opportunity?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's something that comes to mind?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to do. A lot of people talk to us about doing remakes and stuff like that right now, and I'm always so like. I love the idea of doing one, but I just want to do it on the right terms.
Yeah, it's sacred territory, man.
It's like I never want to be like, I would never want to do a remake where it's like, you make it, you put it out, there wasn't enough money, kind of like, that one Hellraiser movie that came out. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like I look at that stuff and I'm like, I love the horror community, I love conventions, I love doing this stuff, and I would never want to do something that doesn't, pay good respect to it, and like, do what it deserves.
Now, so you got your start in Creepy Canada doing documentary stuff. What sort of challenge was that like compared to making features and stuff? Do you still ever get that itch to maybe do something of that approach once again, or is that just the time that's passed?
Yeah, no, that's funny. We were actually doing a convention. One of the first conventions I was at, the team from Creepy Canada came out and they were like, we want to make our TV show like scarier. So, we want to bring you on as a director. And I came on board and traveled right across Canada. It was such an awesome experience. It was like 2 months in a van with like a couple people, and we just like would go city to city and do these reenactments and stuff. And definitely after the first few, they were like, all right, you got to tone this back a little bit. All right? It's still going on. There's like kids are watching this, blah, blah, blah. But I know it was a lot of fun to do, and I mean, I'd definitely be into doing something like that again.
Very cool, and it was all based on like real like lore and stories and stuff like that. Right?
And I love that stuff anyway. Like I love going to
that's like some of the scariest stuff.
If
it's got those real roots to it.
It was like we went to like ghost towns where it was like there's this one called Nordig, and it's like you'd go there. It's just a ghost town now because I guess in the 20s or something like that, there's a big mine.
Yeah.
And all the men died in it one day. It collapsed, killed all the men, and all the women were like, well, we don't know what to do or whatever, and they all moved out. So it's like you still walk into people's houses, and it's like, it was really creepy, but great experience.
Nice, man. Excellent. Well, we don't want to take up too much of this man's time because we have a screening of his film this evening, but lastly, what is the film that just got you into scary stuff? Was it a film? Was it a television series? What was kind of the first thing that dug its claws into you and got you into wanting to, pursue this beloved genre of the spooktacular?
I mean, I think when I was young, I loved the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and all that. That's the stuff that I jumped into when I was I think I was in grade 2 or 3, and like,
oh wow,
my
corrupt that mind young.
Yeah, my parents actually let me start watching those and Child's Play and all that jazz. It was like right in the like glory era of like
80s,
supernatural villains.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they're still a little fun and cartoony. So it's like scary, but not insanely scary. But I remember I was young, and I'd have nightmares, and I'd wake up and be like, I'm not going to tell my parents because they're gonna start taking the stuff away from me.
Yeah, I gotta just man
I was
up.
like, I thought about it. I also couldn't show my friends because I got in trouble doing that a couple times. So,
what was your favorite nightmare then?
My favorite nightmare? Oh,
yeah,
Dream Warrior, for sure.
Dream Warrior,
absolutely.
Okay, that's a go-to for a lot of people. The Dokken song, man. I mean, come on. Awesome, dude. Well, Chad, it was a pleasure getting to talk with you about the film. It's I'll Take Your Dead, and it's in select theaters currently, but you can also VOD it, so make sure to seek it out. Incredible performances, top to bottom. Great work once again, maintaining that consistency. And what are some social media websites, any places where you would like to direct people to check out some more of your stuff, like Black Fawn Films and all the other stuff?
BlackFawnFilms.com, BlackFawnDistribution.com, Shout Factory's website, Breakthrough Entertainment. Yeah.
There you go. There you have it. Well, gracias everybody, and gracias once again to Chad. This was an awesome discussion, dude. I'm such a fan of your work, so I was kind of geeking out a little bit on this. The Heretics Bite, and obviously the newest entry, I'll Take Your Dead. So we're going to come at y'all with some more coverage here from Texas Frightmare very soon, everybody. But until then, remember, stay scared.